Hey guys, thanks for popping in today. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to warn you guys now that I'm going to ask you to participate today. So if you want to spend a little bit of time figuring out how to unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. If you're on a computer, it should be on the bottom left of the screen that you're looking at. There's a mute button that you can push to either mute yourself or unmute yourself. Oh, and it looks like I can actually unmute you guys. So that'll be good. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well. It's, oh, hey, Reed. We are in some strange times right now, certainly. Being kind of locked down and having to stay in the house and find things to do. It's a challenge for me. I think everybody is kind of going through it together right now, but it's nice to have some opportunities like this to connect online and just see how everybody's doing and check in. Hopefully get something good out of the session today. I'm going to be combining with Matt Cross. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Skylar Schulz. I serve as our boys high performance director with the club, and I also coach the 05 boys Navy team. And today what we're going to be talking about is the ISPs that you've probably got some communication from your coach already, or if you haven't yet, you should be getting communication very soon from your coach about completing an individual soccer program for yourself. And that can be kind of a difficult task to do on your own if you don't have a lot of experience doing it and without guidance. So the main objective for today will be just to help guide you guys and girls towards understanding better what the objectives are with the ISP, and then hopefully it'll set the stage for you guys to spend a little time today after the session completing yours so you can get that done and turned in and on your way. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. These are some of our objectives for today. So first objective, I want us to understand what player qualities are. Next, I'd like us to understand what key player qualities are. And then I'd like you to understand what the key player qualities are for your main position. And then lastly, I want you to understand how you can use key player qualities to create a worthwhile ISP that can actually help you improve. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start with is player qualities. What are player qualities? Player qualities are the skills, abilities, and attributes that a player possesses. Okay, so think about, what are your player qualities? What do you do well? I'm going to try something here. And I've never done this before, so this is a little bit of an experiment, but I'm hoping it will work. I'm going to try to do a breakout room with you guys. So I'm going to put you in groups of 4, roughly. Yep, groups of 3 to 4. Okay, and then I'm going to have a short task for you where I'm going to ask you just to introduce yourself to the other people in the room and describe yourself as a player in about 30 seconds. Okay, so take turns, share your name, what team you play for, and then just describe yourself as a player. What are the things that you do well? Okay, so I'm going to create the rooms. Okay, it says all participants have been invited to join breakout rooms. So go ahead and accept that invitation to join your breakout room. And you should be with 2 or 3 other people. And then if you could please just figure out how to unmute yourself if you've not already figured that out. And go ahead and share your video if you're comfortable with that so people can see your face. And then just take turns sharing your name, who you play for, and then describe yourself in about 30 seconds. Go ahead, guys.
Isn't working.
So it sounds like there may be some
We're coming
people
back.
who are having success with the breakout room and some people who aren't having success with the breakout rooms.
Oh no, it worked. You just left the main session, but my breakout room was fire. I'll tell you that right now. I had a good breakout room.
You had a good breakout room?
Oh, good one. Good one.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No. I met two cool. I met Jocelyn and Ellie. One from Brian Coleman's team. I apologized, and one that plays on 06 Orange. So it worked out.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So I think people maybe didn't get into the breakout rooms. I'm not exactly sure what it looks like on your guys' end, but I think you have to accept the invitation to the breakout room somehow. And if you're on a phone, that may be different, but we're going to do it, I think, one more time. Okay, so let's come back together. Okay, so what are some examples? What did people say? What are some examples of player qualities? When you were describing yourself as a player, or as you listened to other players describe themselves, what are some of the things that you heard or that you said? What are some?
Hi, Skylar. So one of the things that I heard was that one of the Nathan, my brother on the 07 team, he said he was good at passing. So that's a quality that he's good at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing, Reed.
Yeah.
What are some other examples that you guys heard? Cross, did you hear anything from Jocelyn and Ellie?
Yes, sorry, I did. Receiving to go forward. was a one I heard obviously in our setup, and looking to set up teammates for goal scoring opportunities. Sounds like good teammates over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. Can we get a couple more? What are some other examples of player qualities? So good at passing, able to receive and go forward, able to set up teammates for goal scoring opportunities. Those are all great examples. What are a couple more?
I'll chime in again. How about a leader?
A leader. Nice. Absolutely. Okay, some other examples might be good at defending, might be good at shooting, might be good at sprinting. So those are all examples of player qualities. These are the things that we as players offer, basically, our abilities, the things that we're good at. Key player qualities are the most important skills, abilities, and attributes for a specific position. Okay, so you take the different positions that there are in the game. There's 11 different positions, and then you add different formations and systems, and there can be even more than that, certainly. But in a standard 4-3-3, there's 11 different positions, and each position calls for something a little bit different. So certainly the key qualities that are important for a goalkeeper, well, a goalkeeper is very unique, but the key qualities for a defender are going to be different than the key qualities for a forward, if that makes sense. So we can start to think about key qualities by thinking about what are the key qualities for a goalkeeper? What must a good goalkeeper be good at? So you can think about attack and defense. You can think about tactical, technical, psychological, and physical as well. So for our next breakout room, what I'd like you to do is discuss what are the key qualities for a goalkeeper. Okay, so we're going to do this again. Looks like you should be with the same people. To figure out how I can randomize it next time, but it looks like you're going to be with the same people. So I'm going to open all the breakout rooms. It says all participants have been invited to join breakout rooms. Go ahead and accept that invitation to join your breakout room and discuss with your friends what are the key qualities of a goalkeeper. Okay, looks like some of you didn't get assigned, so I'm assigning players, just learning as we go here. So bear with me. Like I'm assigning people to rooms. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So hopefully you were able to discuss with your partners there, what are the key qualities of a goalkeeper? What did you come up with? What must a good goalkeeper be good at?
One thing that my group said was that a goalkeeper has to be good at communicating to its teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one.
Now, before we go forward, Ellie, what was the exact word you used?
Communicating? Or
Began with a D.
Direct?
Direction. Yep. I think that's a bigger version, right? Communicating is one thing, but direction
Yeah.
is next level.
Good. So getting into actually the quality of communicating, what that means, and being more specific about giving direction. That's awesome.
One thing that our group said was that a goalkeeper has to make smart decisions.
Ooh, yeah, smart decisions. Can you say more about that? Are you talking about with the ball, without the ball, both? What did you have in mind?
Kind of both, because like, let's say it was a goal kick, you have to make sure that you're passing it to where our team could get it, not the other team. Or if they aren't without the ball, they have to make sure that they're on where they should be so that they can save a shot if a shot happens.
Right. Positioning. Good. Yeah. So making smart decisions with and without the ball. Talking about distribution. We're talking about positioning. Making smart decisions. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's get a couple more. Okay, some other key qualities for a goalkeeper might be making saves, being able to jump high. Those are things that might be helpful. Are there any others that you guys talked about in your groups? Okay, well, let's move on. We got a couple really good ones. Thanks for participating, you guys. So basically, it's important for you to know what the key player qualities are for your position. So think about, what do players who play your position need to be good at? And just give that a little bit of thought. Okay. Next, we're going to move into what the key player qualities are for every position in a 4-3-3. I will figure out a way to share this slide deck with everybody so that you don't have to be taking screenshots, or actually that might not be a bad way to do it. If you can take a screenshot when it's on your position, then you'll have the stuff immediately. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll through some of the work that myself and some of my colleagues have done within the club, where we've identified what the key player qualities are for the different positions. And what this is going to help you with is it will help you once you get into your ISP, because if you know what the key player qualities are for your position, it will help you be able to identify something that you can really work on to improve, because it will have the biggest impact on your contribution to your team and your ability as a player if you're focusing on an area that's really going to have a high impact for your position. So the key player qualities overview slide here is just kind of general what all players need to be good at. So game understanding and decision making, taking initiative, having a high level of focus, being able to execute technically, being able to execute physically, and then being responsible on and off the field. These are things that all players need to be able to do well, and it has some bullet points for the different things here. Well, let's get into the different positions. So here we have some key player qualities for the goalkeeper position. And on there are some things that you guys mentioned. So we had making smart decisions, so distributes well from goal kicks, throws, passes, and punts. And then we had communication, which here is on there as well. Communicates with the backline and others to help them get compact and stay compact, shift, and track runners. And obviously there's other stuff that a goalkeeper would be communicating as well. But these are just examples. So have a look here. You can see, you know, for a goalkeeper, they're going to need to have the psychological courage to dive at the feet of players and be able to smother the ball. They need to play with presence, and they need to have guts and be brave. That's going to be essential for a good goalkeeper. Okay, so if you're a goalkeeper, you can go ahead and screenshot this screen right now if you know how to do that, and then you'll have this, which may help you as you start to work on your ISP later. Okay, let's move on to the outside defenders, so 2s and 3s. Let's have a look here at the important qualities or the key qualities for a 2 and 3. Okay, in the attacking phase, it's important that 2s and 3s are capable of providing support to the attack, especially in creating 2v1s in wide channels with the 7 or the 11. Defensively, it's important to be competent defending in 1v1 situations for 2s and 3s because they get in a lot of 1v1 defending situations with outside forwards. Now, physically, they need to be able to compete aerially because there are going to be a lot of long balls that 2s and 3s have to deal with. Okay, let's move on to the 4 and 5. Similar to the 2 and 3, I think the things that are added here is that a 4 and 5, it might be more important for a 4 or 5 to possess upper body strength for physical contact situations, because typically the 4 and 5 are going up against bigger, stronger number 9s. And they also need to be able to deal with defending crosses. It's also important for a 2 or a 3 to be able to deal with defending crosses, but it's absolutely essential for a 4 and 5 or a 4 or 5 to be able to deal with defending crosses. So that's why it's a key quality for the 4 and 5 and not a key quality for the 2 and 3. Okay, next we come to the defensive center midfielder, the number 6. I think this player, it needs to be competent defending and attacking in 1v1 situations. Okay, so that's a key quality for a midfielder, whereas the defender, the key quality was just competent in defending in 1v1 situations. Certainly, defenders are going to find themselves looking to attack in 1v1 situations, but not as often as a midfielder. So that's why when we get into the midfielders, they need to be competent defending and attacking in 1v1 situations. This one is a really important one in the psychological piece for a 6, that they're able to manage the game when it comes to the pace of the game or the moment in the game. So what that means is there are times when the game needs to be played faster, and there are times when the game needs to be played a little bit slower. So for example, maybe your team has just been defending for quite a while. You're up against a strong opponent and you finally get the ball. A lot of times that's a moment where a smart 6 is able to slow the game down a little bit and not rush a pass that ends up being intercepted and then it's coming right back down your throats, but it's an opportunity for the player to slow the game down a little bit and make sure that his or her team keeps possession. Another situation might be if you're winning a game late, that might be another time to slow the game down. Maybe you make more neutral passes backwards and sideways just to keep possession. Whereas if you're losing a game late, expectation would be we got to go faster and be looking to take riskier passes or make riskier passes. Okay, the box-to-box center midfielder, the number 8, they're kind of the player that kind of needs to do everything well. They have to be able to score goals. They have to be able to, you see that in this item here, is capable of taking accurate shots on goal from distances of up to 30 yards. This is the player that has to demonstrate excellent aerobic and anaerobic capacity throughout the game because this player is going to be covering a ton of ground. Okay, the number 10, if you're playing that attacking center midfielder role, some of the things that stand out for me, has the technical skills to create even under pressure. So you've got to be a player who can, even with a lot of players, a lot of defenders around, you've got to be able to create goal scoring opportunities for yourself and for your teammates. So I really like this one. It says delivers passes to forward players or forward moving players with sensitivity and accuracy, either aerially or on the ground. So this player needs to be a very good passer and be able to play forward passes to their forwards in behind the defenders in different ways. So either in the air or on the ground. Okay, wingers. What do wingers need to be really good at? I think this is a big one for wingers. Can beat an opponent with one touch when receiving a pass. So that's when you're receiving a pass from a central position and the outside back is closing you down and you need to be able to take that first touch past the player and get in behind them. That's a really important ability for a winger. And in the psychological piece, I think this is really important. This player needs to be determined and persistent to repeatedly attack the opponent because you're not always going to be successful. You're going to be in a lot of situations where you're in a 1v1, you against the outside back, and you got to take that player on, but you're not always going to be successful. So if you're the type of player who takes out on the outside back and you're not successful and now you don't want to try anymore because you failed, then you're not going to be a very effective winger because we need players on the wing who are going to be determined and they're going to know that they're not going to be successful every time. They might only have a 50% success rate in terms of taking people on 1v1, but they're the players that just, they don't care. They're going to keep their confidence high and they're going to keep going at players. Okay, and then the center forward, the number 9. This is a player who, you guessed it, needs to score the goals. So in here, when we look at the key player qualities of a center forward, they need to be able to react to any incoming service or loose ball and finish with 1 or 2 touches. They need to be able to score in a multitude of ways, using all surfaces of both feet and their body and head. Physically, they need to be able to jump. They need to have the body strength to hold off defenders. So those are kind of the things that stand out for me with some of the different positions. Okay, so now what this session is all about is the ISPs. And so I think taking the framework of, I'm just going to stop sharing for a second here and just talk with you. So I think that the framework of the key player qualities will help guide you in your path to developing your ISP, because that's a really good place to start. So you're probably thinking, oh, well, it'd be nice to improve on my juggling, or it'd be nice to improve on, my first touch or my shots, right? Those are things that might first come to mind. But I think if you go a little bit deeper and you start to think about what are the most important things that I need to be able to do well for my position, that will help you to think about how you can develop in those different ways. Okay, so the ISP, what's it all about? What are the desired outcomes for doing this as a club? One of the biggest ones is players taking ownership over their own development. We want players who are not just coming to training and just taking it all in, just showing up and, okay, coach, you know, what do you have for me today? What am I learning? We want players who are willing to think about their own development and be able to make a plan for themselves. It also provides an opportunity for the player and the coach to have meaningful one-on-one dialogue. So it's kind of a catalyst there to help improve the player and coach relationship. And lastly, it's getting you started on a path of effective personal development skills. Because this is something that, you know, you're going to want to do for your whole life. You're going to want to be somebody who is willing and able to learn and improve on your own, right? So if you have a job or if you're in school and you're trying to improve, trying to be a better student or be a better employee, you know, you're going to need to find ways to do that on your own. It's not always going to come from your boss or from your teacher. So we want you to be set up to really be a self-starter. Okay, just checking on the chat there. It looked like one of our participants was only seeing the key qualities from the 4 and 5. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Matt Cross, and he's going to talk to you guys a little bit more about how to create SMART goals.
Hey guys, I'm going to share my screen real quick for you. Dun, 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 dun. So when it comes to obviously ISPs, there has to be some sort of goal in mind. Now what we use here, what I'm using right now is something called SMART goals. So the first one part of SMART is going to be specific. What exactly needs to be accomplished? That's obviously something for you to think about. Who else is involved? Are you a 4 and 5 and you're looking to play a bit better out of the back? You're looking to find your 8 or your 9 checking into space? Where will this take place is another great question you want to ask yourself. And why do you want to accomplish the goal? So being super specific with yourself and being a bit picky in how you want to play or what you want to do is very, very valuable to you as you look to go forward. Second part of it is going to be measurable. How will I know I've succeeded? Got to have something there. Is there a point where you can go, yep, that goal was accomplished? How much change needs to occur? And how many accomplishments or actions will it take? So obviously when it comes to being measurable, that's going to be super key as well. Attainable. I want to be on the U.S. men's national team. That's never happening. So do I have or can I get the resources needed to achieve the goal? Is the goal a reasonable stretch for me? Right? If I'm looking to hit an 85-yard long ball, I can't do that. So keeping it reasonable. And are the actions I plan to take likely to bring success? Are relevant. Is this a worthwhile goal for me right now? When it comes to your ISPs, we shouldn't be seeing, I want to be the 10th ranked player in the world when it comes to FIFA 20. That's not relevant to you, obviously, when it comes to being a better soccer player. So making sure it's meaningful to yourself, or is it just something others think I should do? If I need to score more goals as a 4 and 5, that's not going to be reasonable. Would a delay prevent me from achieving a more important goal? Also something good to think about. And am I willing to commit to achieving said goal? Last thing has to be time bound. What is the deadline for me reaching this goal? When do I need to take some action? And what can I do right now? So I'm going to show you what I've sent out to my team. I sent out a little survey to my O2 girls asking for their goals, and we'll go through a couple of them. And I'll let you know what I think. I'm going to put them on blast. They don't know I'm doing this, so don't tell them. Now I'm going to scroll up to our goals right now. Okay, so what are 3 goals you have right now for this soccer year starting today? So obviously I put the time bound on it, like what are you going to do today? And so first couple on here, first one, working my first touch to set me up for fast goal scoring opportunities. That's specific, right? Working on the first touch is very realistic as well and relevant. Working more off the ball. I would say that needs to be a bit more specific. When are you working off the ball? And don't settle for the first pass. Find one that will create more goal scoring opportunities. Also very specific, so I like that one. Second one on my list, decrease the amount of time it takes for me to make a save on one side of the net and get up for a rebound on the other side. That's my goalkeeper. Very specific when it comes to her position only. So that's a great one. Figure out where I want to play for college. Would love to see this more time bound. Is there a window of time we're looking to achieve this goal? And getting better at directing goal kicks and punts to very specific people. So also very, very good. Now, we're going to scroll one that I'm not a huge fan of. Win state cup even though I can't go to regionals. Okay. Don't really know. Is that really specific or relevant to you? I don't know. Win MPL. Also, is that specific to your individual soccer plan? And getting better at playing midfield. Not very specific, not very, relevant, and not very measurable. So I don't have very many things there. Now, I just want to scroll down to this one right here. This is my center back. So one, I want to be able to play a full game at high intensity without running out of gas and getting tired. Very attainable, very, very measurable, super specific, realistic and relevant, and it's time bound. I want to score at least 2 goals by the end of the season. For a center back, usually that's not a attainable goal, but for her it is. So challenging herself and being picky with herself is a huge thing when it comes to my center back and putting that on one of her goal lists. And she wants to take on players and make plays up top at least, I don't know how many times per game, but she does. And she's one of those players in my team that can look to play and combine going to the midfield and wants to dribble out the back. So for me, looking at her goals, I love it. Now, I want to scroll down to what is your plan right now during our timeout to challenge yourself mentally and physically? Now, as we go through our ISPs, realizing that we're not on the field. So the biggest thing that Skylar just said is what can you do right now and today to impact your goals? So when it comes to this, my team's filled it out. So physically, I'm going to work out and go and run, stay in shape, push myself to get more fit. Mentally, I'm going to just reflect on our season and see where I need to improve. So now I have them thinking, look at this, lift, workout lowers, Peloton, skills in my basement. So now there's some short-term goals when we're off the field that keep them going. So as we go through our ISPs, I'll throw this back to Skylar here in a second, but realizing that when it comes to your goals, the biggest thing for you is making sure that you're being super picky with yourself, hold yourself accountable, And don't be afraid to put on your list something that might make you feel a bit awkward. If you're not looking to grow, you're dying. And in this game of soccer, it's all about failure is what helps you learn the best. So hopefully that helps as you're looking to share your goals. Skylar, shoot it back off to you.
Thanks, Matt. Great work there. So the last piece of the session today is going to be with me walking through some actual ISPs. We'll see how long it takes. Our meeting's only scheduled for another 5 or 6 minutes, but I wanted to let you guys see some examples of some well done ISPs. So this is an example of a number 2, so a right back. And the way that this was started was looking at the key player qualities. So one of the key player qualities was, for a number 2, the ability to play penetrating passes. So this player looks at the key player qualities of the number 2 position, and they say, you know what, that's an area that's key for a number 2, and I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job right now at playing penetrating passes, so I'm gonna work to improve that. Okay. What does the desired behavior look like? The desired behavior looks like me playing more penetrating passes in games that break lines and playing less neutral passes that go sideways or backwards. Okay, so getting a little bit more specific about what the desired behavior looks like. What must be the outcome? The outcome must be that I improve my penetrating passes / neutral passes ratio. In other words, I want to see my number of penetrating passes increase and my number of neutral passes decrease. What is the current behavior? My current behavior is that I'm playing only about 25% penetrating passes and 75% neutral passes. Bridge the gap. What are the steps to be taken? I need to connect with the players on my team who are the most likely targets for my penetrating passes. So as the number 2, the most likely targets are the 7, 9, 8, and 10s. If we can be more on the same page regarding their movements, it will help me to read the cues and connect more passes with them. I need to work on my first touch so that I can consistently control the ball across my body and set myself up for a penetrating pass. And I need to work on my passing technique over different distances. What do you need to do to bridge the gap? I need to connect with my teammates, create a plan to work on my first touch, and create a plan to work on my passing technique. Who do you need help from and why? I need help from my teammates because they're going to be the receivers of my passes. I need help from my coach to help me create a plan to improve my first touch and my passing technique. I need help from my parents to help track my progress. What is the timeline? I believe I can achieve my goal within 2 months. Okay, and then the evaluation piece is so important. You have to find, like Matt said, ideally this is something that's measurable, and you need to find a way to measure it. So the question here is, when is it successful? I know it is successful when I'm able to play at least 50% of my passes as penetrating passes and less than 50% of my passes as neutral passes. Okay, so you'll notice from the original behavior, it was currently connecting about 25% penetrating passes, and now we're setting the goal to be 50%. So we're not looking for 100% penetrating passes because that's not realistic. We're looking for a goal that's attainable, that's a stretch, but is still realistic. When are you satisfied that you have achieved your goal? I will be satisfied that I've achieved my goal when I play at least 50% of my passes as penetrating passes in 3 consecutive games. And then lastly, how do you measure the outcome? It says, for games that are filmed, I will watch the film and count how many penetrating passes I make and how many neutral passes I make. For games that are not filmed, I will ask my dad to keep a running tally of my passes with penetrating and neutral in the 2 columns. Okay, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to share these examples with you. So I'm going to run through one more quickly just to help you guys on your way today. And then we'll look to find a way to share these, and then we'll shut down the meeting for today and let you go get to work. Okay, so the next example is with a number 6. Okay, defensive center mid. Looks at the key qualities, identifies the ability to receive, secure, and protect the ball under pressure is a key quality for the 6, and it's something that they think they can improve on. So they identify, I want to improve my ability to receive, secure, and protect the ball under pressure. What does the desired behavior look like? The desired behavior looks like me consistently being able to receive a ball under pressure in games and either take a first touch into open space out of pressure or shield and protect the ball until I can pass to a teammate. What must be the outcome? The outcome must be that I improve on the percentage of times that I successfully deal with receiving the ball under pressure. Current behavior is that I'm only successfully dealing with receiving the ball under pressure about 50% of the time. 50% of the time I lose the ball because my first touch is not good enough or because I do not shield the ball well enough. What are the steps to be taken? I need to work on my first touch in 2 specific ways. I need to improve my ability to take my first touch away from pressure into open space. I need to improve my ability to take a first touch that is very close so that I can shield the ball. I need to work on my lower body and upper body strengths so that I can use my body more effectively when shielding the ball. And I need to work on my body positioning while shielding the ball. Okay, in order to bridge the gap, I need to create a plan to improve my first touch. I need to create a plan to improve my lower body and upper body strength. And I need to create a plan to improve my body positioning while shielding. In order to do that, I'm going to need help from my coach to help me create a plan to improve my first touch and my body positioning. I need help from my high school strength and conditioning coach to create a plan to improve my lower body and upper body strength. I need help from my parents to track my progress. So this is, who do you need help from? It's not just, hey coach, I need a plan to improve my first touch. If you could get that to me by tomorrow, that would be fantastic. No, not at all. It's just approaching the coach and saying, hey coach, I've identified, I want to improve my ability to handle the ball under pressure. And I think working on my first touch and my body positioning will be important for that. How can we go about that? What do you think? Here's what I'm thinking. Can you take a look at this? Do you have any other ideas? So that's kind of what I mean by getting help from the coach, not just asking for a plan, but approaching the coach or the high school strength and conditioning coach with some ideas. Okay, when is it successful? We put 2 months on this. So what is the timeline? I believe I could achieve my goal within 2 months. When is it successful? I will know it is successful when I'm able to maintain possession when receiving the ball under pressure at least 75% of the time in games. So again, looking for a meaningful improvement, but not 100% of the time. That's just not realistic. Everybody makes mistakes, and especially when you're under pressure, that's a difficult situation to be in just as is. So 75% might even be a little bit high. It might just be going from 50% to 60%, might be more reasonable. When are you satisfied that you have achieved your goal? I'll be satisfied that I've achieved my goal when I maintain possession when receiving the ball under pressure at least 75% of the time in 3 consecutive games. And then again, how do you measure the outcome? For games that are filmed, I can watch the film and keep track of the times that I received the ball under pressure and how many times I successfully kept the ball. For games that are not filmed, I'll ask my mom to keep a running tally of the number of times I received the ball under pressure and the number of times I successfully keep the ball. Okay, so just wanted to give you guys some examples because it can be difficult when you get this assignment, your coach sends out, hey, do this ISP, but you don't really have much of a framework or a lot of guidance to get that going. It can be kind of like your mind's going everywhere, like, where do I go with this? So hopefully the main takeaways from today are you can start to think about what the key qualities are for your position, and you can look at the stuff that we've put together as a club and that can help guide a meaningful topic or quality that you want to work on. And then as you work through your ISPs, if you want to look at some of the examples, it might help you think about how you can attack those questions in your own personal, meaningful ways.